I discovered my parents gave our family business to my sister with mom saying, "Jessica has vision. You're just good with your hands, not your brain." My sister declared, "Finally, parents who recognize superior leadership skills." So I stopped my 60-hour unpaid weeks. When Dad called about our biggest client, I replied, "Let Jessica handle it." For 8 years, I've worked 70-hour weeks at Thunder Automotive, the custom car shop my grandfather started in 1987. Not your typical oil change garage. We're talking 6-figure custom builds, race cars, engine swaps that make wealthy clients weep with joy. I started working there at 12. By 16, I was doing complete engine rebuilds. This wasn't child labor. I genuinely loved it. There's something magical about taking broken machinery and making it better than it ever was. My sister Jessica, 26, couldn't be more different. While I learned to weld and fabricate custom parts, she got weekly manicures and complained about grease on her designer clothes. She went to college for communications, which apparently means taking professional selfies. Here's the twisted part. I've worked 70 to 80-hour weeks for exactly $42,000 annually. Master mechanics with my skills typically earn $75,000 to $90,000. I was working for half my market value because Dad convinced me I was building equity in my future. Meanwhile, Jessica shows up maybe 20 hours per week as social media manager, making $38,000. Her job consists of posting Instagram stories of cars I built with captions subtly taking credit for my work. Thunder generates $1.2 million annually. I handle virtually all complex custom builds personally. Jessica's biggest contribution was a TikTok video that got 50,000 views from teenage boys more interested in her appearance than our expertise. The breaking point came 3 months ago on what seemed like an ordinary Tuesday. I was staying late to finish a turbo install when I realized I needed the shop's insurance policy number. Dad's office was unlocked, unusual for him. I started digging through the filing cabinet when I spotted a manila folder marked Succession Planning, Confidential. My hands were shaking as I opened it. Inside was a complete legal document outlining the future ownership transfer of Thunder Automotive. According to the paperwork, effective on Dad's 60th birthday next year, 100% ownership would transfer to Jessica. Not shared ownership, not a partnership. Everything would belong to Jessica. But that wasn't even the worst part. As I kept reading, I found email chains between Dad and his attorney going back 6 months. They weren't just about transferring ownership. They were about what to do with me afterward. There was a section titled Employee Transition Plan, which was essentially a roadmap for my termination. According to their timeline, I would be fired approximately 6 months after Jessica officially took ownership. The stated reasoning, I would be too expensive to maintain on staff, and Jessica would need to establish her own management style without interference from previous leadership. They weren't just planning to cut me out of ownership. They were planning to remove me from the business entirely. The business that I had literally built with my own hands. The reputation that existed primarily because of my work. The customer relationships that I had developed and maintained. All of it was going to be taken away and handed to someone who couldn't change her own oil. I took photos of every document with my phone, then carefully put everything back. I spent an entire week in a fog of anger and disbelief, debating whether to confront them immediately. I decided to do it at our monthly family dinner. I printed copies of the most damning documents and spread them across the dining room table after dessert. "I found something interesting in your office the other night, Dad." The atmosphere changed instantly. Dad went white. Mom gasped. Jessica got this calculating expression, not surprised, just figuring out how much I knew. "What were you doing in my office?" Dad asked defensively. "I needed the insurance policy number, but I found this instead." "Care to explain why I'm learning about your retirement from confidential legal documents?" Silence. "Look, Tyler," Dad finally said, "this is just business, nothing personal. Jessica needs financial security more than you do. You've got skills to start your own shop. Skills I learned here. Building a business you're handing to someone who doesn't know the difference between a carburetor and a catalytic converter." "I know more about this business than you think," Jessica snapped. "Just the mechanical stuff. 8 years of building their reputation, and I just work on the mechanical stuff." "Jessica, I've personally designed and built 80% of every custom project this shop has completed in 5 years. You couldn't build a go-kart if your life depended on it." "Tyler," Mom yelled, "don't talk to your sister like that. Click here to watch full video."